It sounds real easy, real simple. It's a lot more complex when it comes together, as far as the players really understanding it and doing it on the field.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to Bear Insider, Ultimate Insider Podcast. I am Mike Pawlawski, and today we have another Ultimate Insider as a coach, but also a Cal dude and one of my favorite all-time Cal dudes, wide receiver and wide receiver coach, Burl Toler. I remember talking about you as a player. Like, it brings back the nostalgia from when I used to throw to you when you were playing there.
Way back in the day. Hopefully it wasn't nostalgia from too long ago, but no, definitely. Thanks for having me. Great to see you.
Yeah, wait till you get out there, man. It's been over 30 years for me since I played there, so you're not quite there yet, but it's been a while.
Catching up.
Yeah. So tell me about it, man. Hey, great to have you on the podcast. Long time overdue for you and I, right? We go back so far, but tell me about the new offense. I want to just kind of jump right into it. You got a new offense coming in, and obviously you've been a part of this type of system before, a couple of different ways with the air raid style stuff with some power running game kind of mixed into it. Tell me about the new offense. How do you like it? Is it new verbiage? What's it like for you?
A lot of ownership with the players. I love the offense. I'm fired up to be working with Coach Spav. We missed each other. 2016, I went down to Fresno State as Coach Spav was coming in. So we crossed paths. We got to know each other. We stayed in contact. And I'm just happy that it's all come full circle and that we're together. I've been waiting for an offense like this, but it's exciting. It's up tempo. It's high speed. The guys have a lot of ownership as far as deciding their routes, when to break them off, a lot of a communication between the quarterback, receivers, tight ends, running backs. It's quarterback driven, but it's been very successful for us so far, meaning in the spring and the off season. Really looking forward to our guys, taking it and rolling with it. So we've had some great responses so far, and the players love it. So looking forward to it.
So a lot of the air raid stuff, that concept where it all started, you talk about, player determined. These guys have the option to break off routes, to sit down routes, to bend routes, to kind of find open space to run to. And that's a unique thing as a receivers coach when your guys have to make those choices. Talk to me about how you coach those guys up and how you get them to rep it enough where everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, so we put a lot on our players as far as understanding the game. There's a lot of teaching before they get on the field, and that teaching involves concepts, routes, what they're doing, who they're going against, and really just ultimately getting to space, finding space, getting there. If you see the middle of the field open, take it and go. It sounds real easy, real simple. It's a lot more complex when it comes together, as far as the players really understanding it and doing it on the field. We give them the groundwork. We let them know when to make decisions, how to do it, how to play fast, and it's on them to make those decisions within the game. So, we call it from the sideline, and they can anticipate what's coming up or what we should run in certain situations. My favorite thing about it, we don't waste plays. We don't kick ourselves and say, oh, we should have ran a post there, or we should have called a go route as opposed to a fade or a comeback, or we don't waste plays. We take advantage of what the defense gives us. We're on the same page, and if a receiver sees something that they should take, the quarterback sees it as well, they're on the same page and they go. So just like you mentioned already, a lot of it comes down to reps. And that's exactly what we installed in the spring and what they carried over to the summer. And, it's been great for the guys. My favorite thing is they feel like they're unstoppable right now. And that's exactly where we want them. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, but for them to feel like they have ownership and they know what's coming and they know what to go get to, and they can nonverbal communicate, what concept or what play or what series they're going to get to next. It works like clockwork. So Coach Spav is a mastermind. He's pulled up a lot of examples from places he's been, and we have a lot of thousands of NFL examples. We have different ways of installing the offense so they stay engaged, they stay intrigued, and also so they get more creative with how to run things. We don't just say they never run drawings. We don't give them a drawing and say, here's a play, run this just like this. There's options. Here's a concept. We can make it's going to be successful if we take advantage of the middle of the field being opened. Well, there's a flag going to be open on this concept, so we can anticipate the opening being there. There's a lot of different ways to achieve success. And the more tools we give them to reach that, the better off they'll be. So reps, a lot of different people playing different positions, different sides of the ball as far as left side, right side, playing in the slot. The more they can understand, the better decisions they make and the quicker they make them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And So do you guys do it? You're talking about middle field open, and we'll get a little bit in the weeds here, right? Let's talk offense. I'm a quarterback. You're a coach.
Right.
Like we love doing this stuff. Are you guys reading shells, or is it a shell start and then based on movement, rotation, and all that?
Yep, we can anticipate. One thing we've been talking about, if we know there's, one safety, it's going to be cover 3, or cover 1. If we know there's 2 high safeties, we're gonna expect this shell of it, like you mentioned, to be cover 2 or quarters. So it's either 3 deep, 4 under, or 4 deep, 3 under, as a base. And that's just what we start with, and then we go from there. So we know what teams we can anticipate going against cover 4 more, or different versions of cover 3. One thing that's great with our defense is iron sharpens iron, and we get a lot of good looks from our defense. So we have to be sharp going against them. And we're off the script. We're just rolling, running our concepts and getting great with those. But to any defense, if you were to look at our playbook, you might draw up hundreds of different concepts, but it just depends how we look at things individually and what kind of decisions we're making. And you can live with them all. You just have to make sure you're being decisive, you're playing fast, and that ultimately you get on the same page with everybody else, all the other 10 players on the field.
Yeah, and exactly. Everybody has to be on the same exact page. When there's options involved, as a quarterback, I'll tell you, when there's options involved, you have to anticipate where that option is going to take that receiver, right? And you've got a pure progression read based on so just to break it down for our viewers at home, you'll have a shell, cover 2 shell, cover 3 shell, whatever shell you see, 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then the quarterback will then watch for rotation, meaning did the safeties rotate to single high? Did they split for 2 high?
Absolutely.
Or are they coming down playing man? So you'll read all that stuff as a quarterback. And from that, now you understand where the concept should take the receiver.
Yes.
So you can anticipate where he's going.
Yep.
And that's the big thing, is because under pressure, as a quarterback, now with dudes in his laps, he's got to remember to read all that still. People make it out like it's super easy because it's pure progression. It's not. You still got to go through your things. And so the reps come in. Do you feel like so far you've had enough reps to get these guys comfortable with it?
No, I don't think there's ever enough reps. I think they're feeling comfortable with it. And the way we've had to take advantage of it over the spring was just a lot of film. Only having 15 practices in the spring, you have limited amount of reps. So to take advantage of that, it's not just watching ourselves, ultimately watch ourselves, but the amount of the library that Coach Spav has is phenomenal. So we're able to see literally hundreds of different reps and looks on one concept. So when guys, even if they don't get the same exact look, we can take components of it and say, oh yeah, I just saw that. I know what I need to do. So
Right.
some guys can see it drawn up on the board and they can make their decisions and go. Some guys need to watch an NFL team do it. Some guys need to see another college team do it. Some guys need to get out there and do it themselves. But when we have, a deep library of all of those components, you can kind of minimize the amount of mistakes based on the amount of times we're seeing things. So, it's been great. We have a lot of evidence to back up everything that we're doing. And it just feels good to be able to show guys how things work and ultimately why they work, and then let them go out there and do it. So the reps will come. We're all fired up for camp coming, because this is the opportunity to get more reps. The opportunity over the season, over the off season, the whole summer, those reps were coming a little bit on the field when they did player run practices and all that, but a lot of those reps came in the meeting room. Now we get to get those reps, to steal those reps on the field. And I think they're more than equipped and ready to get after it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, I think more reps, the better, period. End of discussion. Like, you can't get, I actually told one of my quarterback coach in high school now, and told one of my quarterbacks the other day, I'm like, be selfish with your reps. These are all that you're going to get.
Yes.
There's a limited amount, there's a finite amount of reps. So you need to be selfish with your reps and get every rep you feel you need to be ready for the game. And then if the next guy ends up being the guy up, then he will have to be selfish with his reps.
Yep.
But until, if you're the number one guy, take as many reps as you need, because if you were playing behind me, you weren't getting a whole lot of our team's reps. I promise you that.
Absolutely.
I was playing for 11 years. I'm like, no, you're going to have to take scout team.
One good sign as well is that guys are starting to make corrections before we even get to them. So we saw that towards, I would say, practice 12, 13, 14, spring ball. There'd be corrections, and they'd be okay. They'd make the correction before I could get to them, or Coach Babb to get to them, and that's a good sign that we're headed in the right direction.
And that's one of the beauties of being at Cal. And you've had the opportunity to be other places and to be here, and obviously you're an alum, so big deal. But it's a big deal to be part of this program, because you are surrounded by really smart dudes. And really smart dudes, it's a double-edged sword. Super smart dudes will get the offense. They'll understand it. They'll make it happen. They'll know the reads. They'll know why they're making the reads. So they get it globally. They understand it.
Right.
At the same time, you can't ever bullshit a Cal guy.
Never.
Like it's like at Stanford. You cannot BS these kids because they will sniff it out and you are in trouble. So if you are not dead honest, true with these kids all the time, you lose them.
And that's what I say a lot. I mean, these guys, they make me be a better coach because I have to be detailed and they're going to do exactly what I ask them to do.
Yeah.
So it's a great position to be in.
Yeah, coachability is huge. Cal guys are always coachable, but you better be straight with them 100% of the time. Which I like as a coach. That's my thing. Like I hate
that's the dream.
Pro ball that I hated, right?
Right.
I hated pro ball because everybody was full of crap and they tell you what they thought you wanted to hear. I just wanted to hear the truth and let's move.
Yep.
Give me the truth. We'll figure out how to make everything else happen.
And that's where our guys are now. They're ready to hear the truth and what they need to do to get open. And there's very few good jobs that come after plays or when we're watching film. It's how can you get there faster? How can you make that read, without looking over there? How can you, make those decisions faster and faster?
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me this. Now, obviously, I'm on vacation in Montana. My backdrop has changed. I've got the pine trees behind me. I was fishing.
Very fitting, though, for you. Very fitting.
Totally fitting. I was fishing on the Coeur d'Alene River.
There we go.
Catching some West Slope cutthroat today. So
okay.
Me and the wife were out there getting it done. It was awesome. And I'm here until, football starts for me.
Right.
But you had a big vacation this summer. Tell me about your vacation. Tell me what you guys did, because this is awesome. I was over in Italy with you a couple of years ago. So
yeah, that was fun. We got to get that going again.
No doubt.
Big vacation for the Toler crew. Being my oldest daughter is 15 and a freshman, and then my son Bo, the fourth, he's 5, and Lana's 3. My wife and I, Drea, thought it was a very important year to be able to try to do something as a family. Could be one of the last years we can all 5 of us, hop on multiple flights and leave the country and do things like that. So we just said, hey, let's try to make it happen. Obviously, all the coaches having, 2 to 3 weeks off for the entire year, we know that's a very important time to spend with the family. So we made it happen, and we started off. We went to Florida, spent some time in Florida for about a week, did a lot of fishing. My son, he was on the push button reel. He learned how to open the bell and do all that in one day. So he's addicted now. You might have another fishing partner next time you go out.
I'll get him out in the boat. We're going to go row the boat in the Kootenai tomorrow. So we'll have to get him on the boat in Montana here.
Awesome. He caught his first fish, cast and all, yesterday.
Awesome.
In the bay.
Awesome.
So we started in Florida. We were out there for 6 days, hung out there, went fishing, went to the beach, hung out there. And then we caught a flight from Miami, went out to Barcelona. Stefano was one of the coaches that we met out there in Italy. He's now coaching in Barcelona. So we saw a Barcelona Dragons football game. Amazing experience.
Nice.
Had a good time there. And then we went down to the southern part of Spain and we caught a ferry from Spain to Morocco. So we got to Africa, went to Morocco, spent 3 days in Casablanca, and then 4 days in Marrakesh.
Dude, that is awesome.
Spent some time out there, but just experienced the culture, ate a lot of great food, met some amazing people, and really enjoyed our time. We probably hopped on about 10 flights total. And that's, layovers included, but planes, trains, some quick short flights, a couple longer ones, a few taxi rides, ferry. We pretty much did it all, but had a great time with the family, enjoyed ourselves. And now we're back here and everybody's getting geared up for our regular schedules. And, my wife's dealing with all 3 kids, having at least 4 activities each. And I'm back in the office, and she's back on her own for the duration of the season. But
right, people don't understand how hard it is on being a coach's wife. Like coaches' wives have to be absolute troopers to get through it, because it's tough. You guys are in, you are in. It's like every coach is like a CEO schedule, period, because you're running your own group.
Exactly. So we're back on it and ready to roll. But it was a good time though. We're glad we had some time with the family.
What was the best part of Morocco?
Food, hiking to a waterfall. We went to a big, amazing show out there. My son rode a camel.
That is awesome.
We did just about everything.
Yeah, that is absolutely awesome, dude. I love that. Well, so part of what we're doing here today,
you got to ask him about the trip, because he's
I'm gonna.
He's got his map figured out and everything.
And we have to get him up in the boat. So one of these years, part of your vacation needs to be up here in Montana. We'll roll you out here. We got some really good fishing right in the neighborhood. So that'd be awesome to get you out here.
So you owe my dad a call, my son. We got the whole crew now.
Yeah, I got to get the whole Toler family on speed dial. So tell me this. Part of this is we're going to break down the receiver position. All right.
All right.
So let's talk about your dudes this year. Obviously, Jay Hunt is a dude coming in.
Yes.
Everybody knows, everybody loves. You kind of see what he can do. Talk about him as a player, and then talk about some of the other guys around him.
So Jay Hunt, we're extremely fired up. We obviously, the fans know this as well. You know what you're going to get out of him. Exciting player, extremely focused, student of the game, loves being here, wants to be here, and is constantly getting better. Pretty impressive for him to be here this long and continue to get better. And with this offense, he's really, one thing that I think everyone's going to see differently is that he's really going to be able to play like himself. And what I mean is the way his brain thinks, he sees those openings. He sees the field. He knows how to take the middle of the field or stay outside or stay wide towards the sidelines. He knows how to stretch the field. And he has the ability to be deep, intermediate, short. So he's really understood the offense, and, you know, he lives in the meeting room. He stays on the film, and a lot of things Coach Fab's doing play right into what Jay Hunt has done and is going to do. So we know we're going to get from him, and he continues to lead the bunch.
And so as I look down the list, obviously list is numerical, so I don't want to go by numerical stuff, but talk to me about some of the other guys around him, guys that we can expect big things from this year.
Maven Anderson, he kind of started to get into his own towards last season. He's a automatic OG of the crew. You know, he seems young as far as being here only, 2.5 years. But, after the first year where he redshirted and last year kind of having his breakout, he's just getting started. So we're expected. He understands the playbook. He's been playing multiple positions. We're expected to see a lot out of him, coming up this season. So he's been a different type of focus out of him, and that's on the field, off the field. He really knows that this needs to be his season, and he's taking it in stride, and he's just focused. He doesn't have that. He shed kind of that little baby weight. Yeah. And and I mean that literally and figuratively, but he's ready for action. So,
which is funny because that, like, year 3 is when it has to click in. Like, and some guys, it'll click in earlier. Some guys it takes till your last year, but year 3, you better turn it on. Like, you better get through it and get on it, because those are your 2 years to really show.
Yeah.
What are his biggest assets for you as a receiver?
Flat out speed, for one.
Flat out speed.
He's extremely physical. His thing is he's really good at a lot of categories. So his thing was kind of identifying and carving out his specific role, almost cutting down some of those tools and really focusing on some. So simplifying the game and understanding more coverages, understanding what he can do off the line, release wise, honing in on those things, those attributes has helped him and allowed him to focus on how he's going to, contribute the best. And I think that was his focus towards the second half of the spring and on to the summer. We were very clear and specific on where to improve and how he'll help the team, and where he can improve. And he's made lists. He's had detailed descriptions of what he needs to do, and he's hit those, and he's been able to, redraw some new goals for himself and shoot towards those. So, really excited about where he is.
Yeah, so important that dudes understand their role, and like you're no matter who you are, you're always a role player. Like, your role may be to be the star, right? It may be to be the guy, but even if you're not that guy, if you can play your role, you can be a star.
Absolutely.
And it's not that you're getting pigeonholed. It's playing to your strengths and not worried about trying to do the things that you can't do. Do the things that you do really, really, really well.
Really well.
And you do that, and you become a star.
Yep. Focus on what you're good at, and then we'll accentuate those, and we'll continue to develop the things that you aren't so good at. But there's things to develop for everybody in the room. And Maven's one of those guys that's ready.
Who else are we looking at?
Monroe Young.
Yeah.
He's a guy that has been here. This will be his 6th year. He's carved out from day one. He's carved out his special teams role. He is a wide receiver. And I know everybody knows that, but he came along and had, I think, 3 touchdowns in the last 4 games last season. And to anybody that's part of the program on the inside, they were not surprised, because he's the same guy every single day, day in, day out. He's a pure extension of me in the meeting room and on the field. There's sometimes that I'll just look at him and he'll know what to say or what to do. And that's a coach's dream to have in the room. So he showed his versatility. He'll continue to, improve as well. Very impressive to have somebody be here 6 years and get better every day.
No doubt.
He's at a point where nobody's surprised by what he does. And that's because he's the same person day in and day out. He's focused. He's the most competitive guy in the room by far. And he's just a joy to be around. And we know what we're going to get out of him every single day. So he's the OG of the group, but he enjoys his role, and he's a leader, and we expect big things out of him.
You were one of those dudes who got better every single year you were in the program too. So that must endear him to you because of that. You were, you came in as a guy who had a family name, obviously, in the program, and who didn't see a ton of playing time, but just played yourself into position and then became a really good player. And I love dudes like that. Like, I came in, I didn't know crap about playing quarterback. I came from a wing tee, back pedal drop, and just had to get better every single year. Those dudes are special.
Yeah. And we've got a couple guys like that. Javen Plummer was probably the most improved over the spring. And we've seen steady incline, on what he can do. He has the size, he has the speed, he has the strength. It's just about him putting it all together. Understanding the playbook and the game has really helped him on that aspect, being a young guy, so we'll expect a lot out of him. We have a few additions as well. We got Taj Davis from UW. You can tell he's a veteran. Yeah. He came in right away and didn't care if he hadn't been here for a year or 2 years or even a month. He just came in ready to work. He was one track mind. I want to, get better and help his team. And
he was a dude up there surrounded by other really talented receivers as well. He was a guy that could have been a star in his own right too.
Absolutely.
And maybe square peg, round hole. I don't know, but
right.
Like, I watched him on film, like, ooh, he is like quick. Like, that dude's got some skills.
Yeah. And he understands the game too. So
yeah,
it's a pleasure to have him. Marquise Montgomery's a new kid that we got as well, from Snow College in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy, great size, great hands. Really looking forward, since, a guy that wasn't here in the spring, but here now. We're really looking forward to the things that he's going to be able to do. So, yeah, the whole room is coming together. The young guys are helping the older guys. The older guys are helping the young guys. Isaiah Hunter just got here as a freshman. He's been pretty impressive as well. But we got a good crew. We got a couple guys coming off of injury. Both Mason Mangum, Mason Starling. They both they're in their own right. Mason Mangum is extremely fast, agile. Competitive, looking forward to having him back in action. And then Mason Starling being a big body, great size, great catch radius, being able to have him as well. So, we got a few more as well, but I'm looking forward to the crew. I love the guys here. Everybody that's here wants to be here and is dying to play. We got some up and comers. Even a couple of the walk-ons have been turning heads. And I look at everybody the same. If you're here, you're more than capable of playing. But from Tron to Grant Daly, Kendon Robinson, Jordan King, those guys are making a name for themselves. So we got a deep crew, and this offense is perfect for everybody.
Yeah, and part of that deep crew, you are one of the best recruiters, like, at least on the West Coast right now. Like, you personally, like, I watched the dude.
We need to take the show on the road, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, you are so good at bringing in dudes that fit the system, fit where you're at. And I understand it. Like, I know you, I love you. You've got just such a good personality too, and you're a guy that people can believe. But what do you owe that to? Where do you come up with this great recruiting?
I think you hit it on the head already, or mentioned what it's all about for me, and it's about the right fit. There's guys that, you look at somebody like Javen Plummer, and he went to high school in Virginia. So it's like, what's the attraction? Knowing that he has the military background of his family, and that he can travel, and that he has family, his grandparents in Sacramento. I think getting to know these kids is very important. I don't recruit a ton of guys every year. I take pride in handpicking the ones that I believe fit here. I think I have a little advantage of having guys, or being here as a fan, player, a coach for 9 years, going on family.
Yeah.
So I don't have to make up anything. There's no, it's, kind of telling them what I went through. Obviously, it's not going to be like my situation, but I've been here. I've been through it. I know why we were 0-10 1 year, and I know why we're 10-1 1 year. Like, there's different things that come into play. And then also, Cal's a unique place, and it's very important to understand who fits. Some people say, oh, here's the top 5 stars. It really doesn't matter. It's about what fits for right now.
Yeah.
So it's different. This year, my one high school kid was Isaiah. It was every year it's going to be different. Sometimes we need size, sometimes we need speed. Ultimately, guys need to come together and be on the same page. But, I'm extremely family oriented in the way I recruit. My wife and kids and everybody knows the whole process. But once I go in and identify one of those guys that I believe fits, I go all in. And it's about getting to know them, their families, how they walk. If a guy walks into my room, I got to know, hey, I need to ask the second question or the third question instead of just saying what's up or, what's good, how you doing? It's got to be, all right, how's mom's doing? Or, your math class, you got a test on Thursday. Let's make it happen. So there's different things. And, I don't think it's, special by any means, but I think that I take a lot of pride in identifying who fits. And it's my job to help them understand why they fit.
Yeah, I think
it's been a good recipe for me, and it's been fun. And I take a lot of pride in cultivating, putting teams together and putting rooms together, and just continue to identify where we need help and who are going to be those people to help us out the quickest in those areas. So take a lot of pride in my room, and we're ready to roll.
I think you do a fantastic job, dude. Obviously, having bleeding blue and gold, having it on your sleeve and on your heart makes a huge difference, I think, for you. But I think you can go recruit anywhere. Like, you're just one of the best dudes in the country, and it makes you such a big piece of the puzzle as a coach. So I appreciate you. I love you. So
much appreciated. Love you as well.
Looking forward to seeing you this year. See, this can be a 4,000 yards passing offense. It can be easily. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that. What has to happen to make that happen?
We need to stay on track. We need to take advantage of every single rep. Like we mentioned before, there's limited reps. We need to take advantage of every single rep. I need to demand a lot out of the players. I need to demand a lot out of myself. I need to rely on the coaching staff. We have a phenomenal staff. I had the pleasure of working with Coach Plow at UC Davis a few years back, 2017, when he was calling it over there. Have a great relationship with Coach Spav. Coach Blesh was an awesome addition, to come in. Coach AT obviously does amazing and special things with the backfield. And we're in a good spot right now, so we need to continue to bring everybody together. The culture from Coach Wilcox on down has been established, so we need to hold everybody to it. And that's from coaches on down to the players. We need to equip the players with the right tools, and we need to let them work. And they are in a situation, in a position where they feel comfortable speaking up. And we're in a situation where we feel comfortable demanding, what we need to get to and how to get there. So when you have that type of relationship, I mentioned before, it's a family type atmosphere. We mean that in a way of, if something's not going how it should, we call each other out, so we're looking forward to holding each other to the fire and making it happen. But, on and off the field, I think we have a phenomenal group, team, and extremely talented roster. So we need to make sure we squeeze every ounce of ability out of everybody, and not just for reps, not just for practice, not just for camp, but something that will help sustain throughout the rest of the season. And that comes with everything: the way they study, the way their championship body language is, the way they talk to each other, the way they hold each other accountable, the way they compete. All those things together are going to be the recipe that we need.
No doubt. Culture is buy-in, it's resilience, and it's accountability. Those three things. You have those three things together with the dudes at Cal, and you're in good shape. So
absolutely.
I look forward to seeing it this year, brother. I appreciate you coming on the podcast. It's always good to talk to you, man. I just love, reconnecting with you. We will get your boy on the boat. We'll get some fishing in with him.
Let's go. Awesome.
One of these summers coming up.
Hold you to it.
Yeah,
all right.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks when I get back to Cali. But awesome having you on. Appreciate it. For everybody at home, I appreciate you guys watching Bear Insider, Ultimate Insider Podcast. I am Mike Pawlawski. I was Coach Burl Toler, one of the best recruiters, one of the best coaches in America right now. Awesome. Yeah. And we should be proud to have him at Cal. I will catch you guys later. Go Bears.